It always cheers me up. Good afternoon. It is Friday. It's 4:02. Welcome, Reverend Tony.
Hello, and hello to everybody who's commenting and not commenting. Even if you're not commenting, hello, you are welcome. You are very, very welcome. Trace, I still love the colour of your hair in that photograph. You need to tell me what it is.
Absolutely.
Mine, as you can see, is got colour, but never mind. Hello, Nicola. Hello. Enjoy your last hour of work.
Bless.
Hi, Daryl.
And hello to Kate and Stace. Hello to Shelley. Shelley says, Heidi, hi, my beauties are.
Hody ho.
And don't think we haven't noticed the Corbett Barker comment earlier on. We'll come back to that.
Yes, indeed.
Wow. We are losing. Let's go back to the beginning because we're losing track again.
Yes,
and look who's fixed her StreamYard link. Jen.
Hi, Jen. We can see who you are now.
Blessings. Yeah. And there's Trace with the hair colour.
Barbara, yes.
And good morning to Gail. I think we're getting caught back up because now we can go back to
Purple
Barbara
nails.
loving the nails.
Sparkly as well.
Yes, there's got to be.
Hi, Suzanne.
Hello.
Directions turquoise, Tony. Yes. Oh, thank you very much, dear. I will look out for that.
Fabulous.
Barbara.
Fabulous. Hello, sweetie. Hello to everyone who doesn't want to say hello. It's okay too.
Yes. I was just looking. Are they dolls?
What's that?
In Barbara's picture.
Let's have a look, see if we can get it.
Oh, they are the dolls. Oh,
I don't know.
Oh. I don't know, Barbara, if they are dolls. That's wonderful. But if
he gets scared by things like that.
Yeah, it's a bit too realistic. When they're a bit too realistic, I get a bit weirded out.
Excellent. 3 dolls characters.
Right.
There we go. Fabulous. Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Uber realistic. They are.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
He's getting spooked up. 3 senior councils. They are called the characters. Fabulous.
Amazing.
Wonderful.
Amazing.
Oh, fashion advice.
It is. It's live. Schwarzkopf Live drops, and you get a little bit of conditioner in your hands. Pump a couple of drops into the thing. Mix it up in your hands. Put it in your hair. But I'm at the caravan. Guess where the drops are? At home. At home. So they are. Oh, Facebook user. Can you bob your name on so we know who we're talking to?
Hi, the one Leslie. We are. Good afternoon, my lovelies. If you could just let us know who you are, we can figure it out from there for now.
Yes.
And hello, of course, to Leslie. Welcome.
Yes. Emma Powell, hello.
Welcome.
Grief, everybody's joining in.
I know it's wonderful. It's ironic, really, because obviously sometimes we just start as we mean to go on. Sometimes we've got something. Oh, yeah, there you go. Oh, dear, not good enough. There we go. You're in trouble now. Oh, hello. WhatsApp's, Facebook's catching up. There you go. Bit of a replay on the intro. Sometimes we do know how we want to begin and set the ball rolling and let everyone lead us from there. And it's funny we should be talking. Eunice, thank you. Hello, Eunice. And well done, Shelley. Thanks for letting us know. Apparently you can't. Then how are you commenting, Mother? Just refresh your screen, darling.
I don't understand.
No, I never do.
No,
I think everyone's diving in and saying Facebook user is Eunice. Isn't that wonderful?
It's lovely. Wonderful, the community that we've built over the last few months now. Months.
Yes.
Anyway, You were going to explain how we're
Yes, I was
starting,
going to give
Harry.
an
We're
give
getting
an intro on the yes. This is fun though. It is fun, and chaos is bound to assume its direction as soon as we mention her name.
Mhm.
Um, the comment about hair and nails and everything is very apt because
Yeah.
of course we want to pay tribute to a wonderful, wonderful human being who was at one point obsessed with nails and hair color until she was consigned to a convent in France.
Yes.
Um, speaking of a convent in France,
Yes.
hello Cherry, welcome. She's in France there, so you might have met her on your travels. And Mum's back, so we can carry on now without worrying that the phone's going to ring. And Joanne's joined us as well. Excellent stuff. Hello, my lovely. So yes, we must pay tribute to a wonderful human being who did get consigned to, well, part of their personality got consigned to a convent, albeit briefly, who's done so much work for the animal kingdom,
Yep.
but also so much work for people like us, Tony.
Yes, indeed.
And I am, of course, talking of the wonderful Paul O'Grady and his alter ego, the lovely, the acerbic, the stern, but the hilarious Lily Savage.
Lillian Veronica May Savage.
Lillian Veronica May Savage.
Yeah.
Yes. We've got to give that pair a mention because certainly Lily and Paul have been a huge influence on my life and
Yeah.
accepting me as me. And when we were talking about the theme, very much people just let people be themselves. And in actual fact, Jen said it herself last week. Why can't people just live and let live? And it was
Absolutely.
very much a message that Paul's work did. Uh, Probably not so much for Lily, because Lily wouldn't have said "let live and let live," but Paul definitely did.
Yes.
And he endured, fought, and became free, and took so many people with him in his work. So an absolute blessing. And as Tony mentioned earlier, he's got a friend upstairs that no doubt is giving
Oh,
everyone up there absolute grief. But I am going to hand over to you now, Tony, because I know this has special meaning to you too.
absolutely, absolutely. I mean, yeah, from being younger, Paul O'Grady, and well, no, Lily was a huge part of my life. Um, just so witty and funny, and very much a person who could speak to people on all levels, from grannies in the street to royalty. I mean, he just was such a gem. And of course, yeah, he will be up there now, wreaking havoc with the indomitable Scylla. I mean, just those two will be creating mayhem up there.
Yes,
Absolute mayhem in the world of spirit, and I can't wait to see how it goes. Yes, Suzanne, I remember him being Lily and Lily being in Brookside as a cameo. It was
yes,
brilliant. And yeah, the Radio 2 show was just so sweet, as Shelley said. But I can I've watched some interviews with people, and they always say, "Oh, what a genuine person on and off screen." But I can imagine it. I can imagine um, the him just being as he is, because he never changed. He never
yeah,
changed, and apparently he's the only person who's ever managed to corpse Julian Clary on stage.
yes, 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 yes.
Nobody else has
Absolutely.
managed to do it,
Yeah,
but Lily floored him.
yeah,
Floored him on stage.
absolutely.
The
And
show
you know
took off
what?
for 15, 20 minutes.
Yes, and it's because, putting it as politely but bluntly as possible, he didn't give a damn.
No.
Really didn't. Somewhat. We talk about and yes, Tim. Good afternoon and happy Hydesville Day to you too. We certainly will be giving that a mention later as well, and a good discussion. You know, the thing for me is when we talk about mediumship, we always talk about how personalities do not change when they reach the spirit world. That is one that would come through with absolute gusto, and that word again, indomitable, and absolutely never ever change. And I can just imagine, you know, if ever they were about helping people, you know, it's surprise, surprise. Oh, shut up and let's get on with it. You know, I
I
just, I,
I
I
would love to
absolutely,
channel that. I would
yeah.
love to
Oh,
channel Paul through. It would be.
yeah.
If I don't think I could, I think I would be crying with laughing too much
Yes. Yeah,
to bring a message through.
absolutely.
Oh, and don't talk about us being fancy sounding, Paul.
Matthew.
Matthew.
Yes,
Yeah,
everybody's got an eye on your profile picture already, love. Good to see you, Matt. Welcome,
yeah.
welcome, welcome. And of course, Lacey Reed as well. Hello to you. Welcome to the show. And oh, I have already mentioned Tim there. Hello, Tim. Yes,
Yes,
Tim.
yes. And
Yes,
it is
Tim.
Hydesville Day.
It is. Yes, yes, yes.
Yes.
You know, I've got to say it. It was people like Paul, and I didn't actually know. And this is how weird things get sometimes. The cross connections that you have that you don't even realize. Paul O'Grady started working in Vauxhall in London the year I was born, and this was at the height of great difficulty in the gay community, but he still put himself out there and worked and did his thing. But what I didn't realize was that Vauxhall connection, that's where my great grandmother was born, not too far away from the pub that he worked in, which is just, you know, the how
Boom.
small a world it is, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
And he made the world in such a good way that much smaller too,
Yes.
I think, because he brought people together in all of the causes that he loved. I mean, everybody at the moment will know him especially for his work with the dogs at Battersea, but he made our life, and he made some of the more colourful parts of our life so normal.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that, I feel, in this day and age, the way the world is progressing or not progressing, the way arguments grow and develop, we're being pushed away from being normal, live and let live.
Absolutely.
And I just think it's essential that kind of sense of community that he created around himself, with his friends, the way he was with his friends, with the animals, all of that. It's just it's just a really important lesson to remember. And if anything, the legacy of his life would be you, be the
Yeah.
what you said before we started, be the best version of yourself,
And
even if you have to
don't let anybody squash that.
Yes.
Yeah. Which is an amazing thing, because I was talking to Nick before we came on screen about different people we work with, and when they're tying themselves up in knots because they can't define where under the rainbow they sit. And our thing is, well, you don't need to worry about that yet. And why do you have to actually worry about it at all? Love who you love.
Yeah.
And if you don't want to love them, do what you want to do with people
Yeah.
of whatever you find attractive.
Yes. And again, good point from Tim. He went full circle, because
Yeah,
Battersea, quite rightly, as Tim said, is only about 5 minutes from Vauxhall. Yes, of
if
course it
that.
is, because I drove past it a couple of weeks back. when I was going to pick up my missus in spirit, or my spiritual missus, I should say, the lovely Dawn.
Yes.
You know, I'm two-timing her with my spiritual husband today.
Mm.
You know,
Well,
um, she won't mind.
no.
She won't mind. But yeah, absolutely. And I think, you know, at the core of our way of life is about fighting for what you believe in a positive way, in a way that uplifts people. Paul
Yes.
O'Grady and Sister Lily, as she would have become after she joined
Oh,
the convent,
absolutely.
Sister Lillian, um, you know, that's what they did. That's what they did.
Yes.
And that's really important.
It,
Hello to Sam. Hello, Sam. Good to see
yes, I've
you.
just spotted my dad pop in as well. So hi,
Hello,
father.
hello, father-in-law.
Yeah. Yes, yes. And yes, I did see the piece that somebody wrote about Paul rescuing dogs as they cross the Rainbow Bridge.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
absolutely. Yeah,
Absolutely.
definitely, definitely. So it's so. Oh, and there's we got a lot of
Yeah.
FPTVers coming online today.
We
Hello, Sam.
have. We
Yes,
have.
and we will of course mention that in
Yes.
in due course as well, because that's quite personal. But you know, it all ties into, again, as you said, being the best part of yourself, especially. And you know, I know you're holding back a little bit, Tony, which is unlike you. I'm not.
I know. I know. I know.
Because it's time for me to have a bit of a rant as well. And I did touch upon it briefly when I said in this day and age. I've had some wonderful conversations with some wonderful people this last week. And what has become clear, both in the spiritualist movement and in, for example, our community, the LGBTQIA plus community, but in every community, it's the interference of others that do not understand what it is that we're saying that causes the difficulty, not the genuine people who just want to know and live and let live, not us who just want to be able to live our lives. It's the same in the community as it is in the spiritualist movement. I've had some really snotty comments as a spiritualist this week.
You too.
Yeah, and it all comes down to people not actually understanding
Mm.
what it is that they're trying to criticize. For example, I know Lily will be up there with a rainbow flag on the Rainbow Bridge, kicking off in more ways than one, and probably not as politely as we would, about the way drag story time is being treated by people as though it's some kind of
Hmm.
dirty thing. And the same goes to be said for people accusing Christian spiritualists of taking over the world. You know, we get it in the neck from both spiritualists and Christians,
Hmm.
and now we're starting to get it in the neck from other people too. I'm friends with some modern spiritualists, Christian spiritualists. I'm also friends with a lot of pagans and a lot of atheists, because we all look at the root that we come from and don't give a damn about borders.
Yeah.
And that's it. But there
Yeah.
are some people who come in from the outside trying to change what it is that each other does. And that's just wrong, because spiritualism at its core, no matter what flavor of it is. And the same applies in the LGBTQA plus community. So there are a lot of parallels with this. At the core of it, we all just want to live a happy life, live and let live, help each other, walk the path with each other, and grow. And it is so astounding that we have to even say wonderful and true things like this with Susan.
Exactly.
And it is
And
so true. It is
it
so
is
true.
ignore the ignorant. Um, I saw it was actually before the passing of Paul O'Grady, a meme pop up on Facebook. In fact, it wasn't a meme, it was an article written, and there was a picture of a lady in the UK, I believe it was, carrying a two and a half year old out of a community centre where they'd been holding a drag story time. And this interviewer had jumped in front of this lady and like, oh, your child looks so distressed coming out of there, da 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 da. That drag queen must have really upset them, and you know. And she said, no. What upset my child was these bees shouting and screaming here. That's upset her. She has a wonderful time in there. She was playing with her friends and listening to stories, and they were colouring in together, and the drag queen and all of the babies, and it's just about not. The thing for me is it's not about pushing your beliefs and your values onto other people. It's about letting people be the best they can be, and to grow and develop, and to take out the message of love and understanding to the wider community. And drag is a wonderful way of introducing people to effeminate, camp, over the top humor, which is all it is. There is a huge difference between, you see, this is, the lines are blurring again from certain leanings of the political establishment, because they started with, oh, trans people are bad. Trans people are trying to take over feminism. They're trying to push themselves into places they shouldn't be, da 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 da. And then we go down the line of, oh, now drag queens can't entertain children. Well, hang on a minute. Whoa, back up. I remember being a tiny child watching Danny LaRue on the Good Old Days.
Yeah.
Singing. Actually, I can remember the song he was singing on there as one of the.
Oh, you've frozen, Tone.
Hitler one. Oh, yeah. Hitler has only got one.
Yes, yes.
That song. It was that. It was wonderful. Jen, that was my next point. Pantomime.
Yes.
What? So nobody now should be allowed to take their children to see pantomime at Christmas, because corruption and you know, drag is beautiful. Drag is wonderful. It's an expression of celebration, and it's not men disrespecting women. It's not at all. And it's not about gay. It's not about straight. It's not about anything. It's about, let's celebrate. Let's have a laugh. Let's make I nearly said a rude word then. Let's make a TIT of oneself.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. Well, I'm always game for making a tit of myself, you know, and I will say it.
Yeah. I've done it. I've got some pictures of me in a beautiful gown that somebody sewed for me, with a wig and the whole shebang.
Absolutely.
And yes, I did do a full rather than a half tuck. There we are. So it's, but the lines are being very, very blurred now, and that's how insidious it's getting. That we start with these people, and no, we don't like them, and no, we should shun them, and no, we'll call them out, and you know, people with money and influence are sort of pushing this narrative. And then it moves to another sector that are slightly different, but and similar. And then it comes down again. So then it'll be gay drag queens, and then it'll be, oh, but the gay men as well, you know.
Yeah. And it is a worrying risk. Yeah,
that's how it starts. And just for clarity, there is a huge difference between trans and drag. And there's a huge difference between drag and cross-dressing.
Yes.
And, you know, so they are very separate things.
Yeah.
A trans woman or a trans man could still be a drag queen.
Yeah.
It's irrelevant.
Exactly.
Drag is a celebration of everything it is to be human and funny and everything. Cross-dressing, it's a thing. It's a fetish. It sometimes it isn't even a sexual thing. It's just
feel more comfortable.
express that feminine side of themselves by wearing female clothes. We had a lovely guy come to the Rainbow Project all the way from Lincoln so he could be himself in some incredible outfits, Nick.
Yes.
Leather corsets. Oh, beautiful. It was superb, absolutely superb. And it's wonderful. And yes, Sam,
That one?
yep,
Yeah.
anything that makes you feel uncomfortable or hate or anything is wrong. It's wrong. It should be it is unacceptable and should be called out. The trouble is, as you start to call it out, it gets spun and
Yes. And
and
that's the risk. It is.
and then it becomes your fault. And it's but I always say, if you are not part of the solution, you are part of the problem. And but and I'm not going to name names, and I'm not going to. I really want to.
No. Yes. No. I know where you're going.
Yes, they have so much power and influence that what they do is they put a tweet out, put a Facebook post out, and it creates a dog pile of people attacking that group that are saying, "Well, hang on a minute, no, enough is enough," and you know, we're not standing for that. You pick on one part of the society, you pick on everybody.
Yeah.
You do. You pick on everybody, and I don't want to get this down into another ranting type show like we did the other week, but because we will be rehashing the same arguments. But
exactly.
Sorry, Anne-Marie has named. Yes, Steve came to the Rainbow Project as himself for the first time in public, and it was so wonderful to see. So wonderful to see. But he's 6 foot plus, had platforms and heels on this high, Nick, had to duck through all of the doors.
Yes, that's the thing. That is the thing.
It was like, oh my lord.
So in order to bring your emotions back up, and in order to show a bit of a solution coming through, because that's what I'm feeling in the comments right now.
Yeah.
It is. I've gone right back to where we'd got up to with Sam. Believe what you want. That's the beauty of our own paths. And those who try to put us down, those are the ones who have something to learn. Absolutely agree. Hotly followed by not taking over the world. We are healing the world one person at a time by beating fear through love, light, and educating the ignorant. Tim, maybe we should all just take a leaf out of the book of Spirit. Yes. They don't see you as gay or straight. They don't see you as male or female, that you're a spiritualist or a Christian. They simply see the spirit that you are. And maybe when we all begin to have the approach in our world, in our world with more and more harmony. Tim, I absolutely agree with you on that 100%. The ignorant miss out on the beauty that's around them completely. AD comes back with absolutely 100%. Spirit are not interested. You're fine. I'll carry on catching up with the comments. As long as we give the message with truth and love. Absolutely yes. Jen, children are very accepting of things strange until adults try and re-educate them. And this is the thing, not only in what we're talking about, but of course in spiritualism. How many times have we heard the story that, I used to see spirit, but then I grew up because I was told that it was ridiculous. And it's the same principle right across the board every single time. It's when the world tries to educate us to be more like everyone else. I absolutely love the world being different, unique, and wonderful and different. I embrace the difference. I embrace the joy in the fact that everyone is so, 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 so different. And I think it's vital that we recognize that in spite of our physical differences, we are all at our core, no matter what age, shape, skin type, skin color, gender, preference, clothing wise or sexually, even religiously, we are all spirit inside. We are the living spirit. And I think, as Tim and everyone else is saying in the comments, if we start to actually listen to the inner voice of conscious and kindness that we all are at our core before we're trained to think on everyone else, then the world can be better. And I think it's so sad that we have to attribute all these different borders and boundaries. We need to start breaking down boundaries and walls, allowing people to be their best part of
So,
their self.
exactly.
Um,
Be safe, Sam. Sam O'Neill says, great
oh,
topics, but have to pop off.
Sam, lovely to see you. I'll see you next week. I will be giving that a mention later on too, to all of my brothers and sisters in SPTV. Barbara says, haters will always be haters. I'd like to think that it's possible to change.
Mm.
Um,
I think
I know it's hard, and I
yes.
know it's like, getting blood out of a stone and all that sort of thing. But I think if, as someone once said to me, people can be very crowd-like. I mean, let's face it. If Paul O'Grady had done his Lily shows on TV, if he'd have been presenting Blankety Blank in the 70s, there would have been uproar.
Yes.
So there is a common herd process where people begin to drift when they stop getting told that it's bad. And the same certainly can apply to spiritualism. Because, I mean, look at all that the hullabaloo a few months back with a certain ITV show. Rattling off and just not even saying much, but enough to make us feel cruddy about being
Mm.
spiritualists
Yeah.
and being
Yeah.
spiritual and interested in life after death. You know, that was a common herd viewpoint, and people's mindsets can be changed when those around them start to behave openly. It's not about closing up. It's not about dictating. It's not about swapping the shoe onto the other foot. One of the things that frustrates me right now, and I think is a big problem in spiritualism and in the gay community, in all walks of life, and is causing the biggest grief right now, is that when I grew up, left wing was left wing, right wing was right wing. They had their pros and cons to each side, depending on what the topic was. But left wing didn't do certain things, and right wing didn't do certain things. And it was very understandable, straightforward. But to have very left wing views becoming militant is mind bogglingly stupid to me. You cannot be demanding and intolerant when you are of a left wing mindset. And yet there are so many people that claim to be left wing in personality and in belief, but then are demanding that everyone should do this and everyone should do that. So that's not a left wing view.
No.
It's
No.
not a left wing
Not.
view. So
Not at
it
all.
sometimes feels like there is a massive blur of lines going on. And whilst I'm one for not having borders, when it comes to the way we do things, there's got to be some sort of limit to what tools and what ways of working those particular different aspects of life work together. And
Mm.
so in order to win freedom, equality, equity, and kindness, we cannot become the monsters. We cannot become the thing we fight. We've got to carry on doing what we do, being kind, be an example, be generous of spirit and of self, look
Mm.
after each other, deal with each other's problems as friends and kindly, and drop the whole, well, you're one way of thinking, so I can't work with you. You're one way of thinking, so I can't work with you. That's got to stop. It's got to stop.
Yeah.
And the only way that we can do that is to demonstrate. There's that spiritual, demonstrate the benefits of being what we are, no matter what that is, by showing as an example the kindness, the compassion, and the love. And it will squeeze out those people, because those negative people, because, as I was saying on Thursday night, the battle between good and evil is not balanced at all, because light is substantive, light is a presence, darkness is an absence.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a substantive mass like light and positivity is. Negativity is always driven by absence. And so if we fill the absence with light, light will always win, because light is substantive, kindness is substantive. And there you go. Bless you, Joanne. It's that dictatorship tendency again.
Yeah.
If so, is doing limiting and limit belief. Yes, we cannot be open to everyone's views if we dictate what those views are. And I'm
Absolutely
so with you. And this is the point. Children learn from the adults in their lives, and if the adults are racist, anti-gay, scared of spirit, then the children will be too. And that is absolutely true. And we have that problem in this way of life. I got to
I was
reference
just going
this.
to go back up to Lorraine Clark's
Oh,
comment as
yes,
well.
yes.
The
Let
two
me
are
just.
linked. The two sort of
Yes.
are linked.
Cherry did tell me a really quite horrendous story of how a mutual acquaintance of ours was being slated, their gender being questioned, and their comments about spirit being laughed at, and yet it was supposed to be a spiritual group, and
It
it was just
was.
horrendous. And then there you see, I've been paralleling it the whole time. It's so sad that the gay community aren't always accepting within some spiritualist churches. Even with some gay mediums, can't understand it and wonder if you've ever experienced it. Yes.
Yes. Yes.
I was a member of an organisation, and I had comments and the same attitude and behaviours actually that Cherry was getting. I was a member of an organisation and I left it because I heard several of its members saying, "Oh, we need to deal with numbers and we need to get more people in. But don't worry, we'll always have the gays. They're easy to win over." And that was in a spiritual group.
Yeah.
It's like, hello.
Yeah.
And so it's once again about breaking down borders with example, with kindness and
Yeah.
compassion, and all are welcome, which is the buzzword of the ISA.
Yeah, definitely. I have definitely been to churches to serve where I've come out and thought I won't be asked there again.
Yeah.
Because of, oh, I always like, oh, that's my husband heckling from the back. And, and I am, as you can tell, the butchest, most macho person walking on the face of the earth.
Yes.
And, yeah. So, but I do know there are churches and groups within our way of life who are very choosy about who they support in terms of our community or other communities, and it's sad. It's sad because, like Nick says, we are spirit, we are energy, part of that divine energy. What this vessel does is irrelevant. It's about the growth as a person, experience. It should be, everyone should be welcome in any church, not just a spiritualist church. In any church, we are children of God, and
Yes.
we should be welcome in any of our Father's houses, no matter what. End
Yeah.
of, full stop, period. But when you start selecting selecting which of the children of God you want to accept,
have there.
It starts to smell a little bit rotten to me. And this is something I've said before, and it's something I will say again, and you're probably sick of hearing it, but it's very much, come on, how can I put this? It's very much, we need to address the fundamental fact that we are people of faith. Religion can be where the problem starts to lie, because religion can start to look at precisely religion starts to be organized and structured, and then you get these, and I will say it because a husband might be watching, that there's a group we are associated with, and she says the lady in particular is part of one aspect and sits on one board, but the umbrella committee, she says she won't sit on because they are all middle class, white, paunchy men. So no matter what she comes up with, never going to be accepted, because, you know, oh dear, we don't, oh my dear, we don't do things like that around here, you know. And that's the thing with religion. It starts to be, well, if we ask these people and we have these people, oh, perhaps we won't have as much control over the sheep as we wanted. So, like, going back to Stacey's comment earlier up the comments, we need to find our own shepherd, not follow the sheep.
Yes.
And here endeth the rant. So there we are. How can spiritualism be accepted if we don't accept ourselves? Bang on, Sharon. Bang on.
And I'm in absolute agreement with this. There was something happened in our lives mutually in our development where we had to choose between welcomeness and, I suppose, position. We chose welcomeness, and it is about all in just it. Spiritualism needs to be more like a Benidorm hotel. It needs to be the Solana, all inclusive. And you're absolutely right. Words are cheap when we say everybody should be welcome in our churches. It saddens me to see so few dark-skinned people in spiritualism, Asian people, people from different minorities, and even younger people are spiritualists. We should be all inclusive. Now, I've got to get on my soapbox now, and I totally agree. I saw a medium talking not more than a week ago, saying that spiritualists should get the kids in. We should get, but we don't know how to do it. Perhaps mediumship and spiritualism should be more for the older generation, because we need to focus on what we're best at, and because we struggle to get the kids in. And then I kind of made a comment that we do stuff for young people, but we also provide for them because of the attention span. We have, alternate options available for them if they do get a little bit distracted or bored, to go and do something else, activities, so that they can dip in and out of the service as they see fit. And I'm talking about we've got about 4 or 5 under 16s who come and sit in our services, watch along, and then go and play the games in the side wings if they start to get a little bit restless. And I was laughed at for saying that. And that's where the issue lies for me, is that sometimes I don't think we want to find the answer. Yeah. And if we hear someone who disagrees with some of our core thoughts actually doing something, when we then put that down, that's disgusting, actually. And I was deeply offended, even though it probably wasn't intended like that. And I've got over it, because I can't. I've just got to do what I see as right for those members of the church of which I am steward of the time. And I'm trying to provide something for everyone.
Yeah.
I might not get it right all the time, but at least I'm trying.
But I know another reverend of the Independent Spiritualist Alliance who runs her group on a Sunday, and she has loads of young people coming in, loads of young people coming in, because she switched from one way of working, which she'd done from being young with her dad, to seeing how we do it as just throw the doors open, whoever comes through. And she gets a lot of young people in there now, and that place is rammed. I was up there the other week, and we had to put another 3 rows of chairs out because there were so many people coming through. I've seen a couple of sort of strange comments going up, but Anne-Marie,
please, if you know who that is, please just ignore it, because there seems to be our first. It looks like we've got a spammer. So please just talk to each other and ignore it.
Anne-Marie, I've discussed spiritualism around Amber Jade, and she's just such an open young lady, and she's amazing. She's sat through a lot of my services and things, and she sits through the services that Anne-Marie takes her to physically. It's wonderful. It's wonderful. And I've seen some churches say, oh, but over 16s only because we're in a pub, I can get that. But if you close that room and the room can be separated off, and you say no alcohol until after the service, there's no problem. There's no problem. Let anybody walk through the door. And like you say, I've been in services, and I'm going to mop my brow because I'm going to get wound up again, where you get the those people where it's like, oh, you can't sit there, that's Doris's pew, and you can't sit there because Gladys sits there, and Fred sits over there, so you can't sit there. Those type of people. And you get people bringing their kids in, and it's, those kids are going to cry all the way through this service, and if they chat while I'm getting my message, I'll go home. And it's like, oh, please, we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. And if the child gets a bit antsy because it's bored, mum can stick its headphones in and let it watch YouTube videos.
Exactly.
I don't care. I don't care. And if they need to go out the back and play with the kid out the back, that's fine. Let's go with it.
He's being very modest there, because when I heard about Spirit of Youth, which was part of the Lyceum, Tim was actually very heavily involved in the Spirit of Youth, and so take a bit of credit and a bit of bow for that young man. It surprises me really in this way of life, because and let's face it, on this Hydesville Day, we're talking, we should reference our peers and our, pioneers in this way of life. Gordon Higginson started sitting in circle at the age of about 3 because, as Laurie said, a lot of church and centres not allow children at service, which denies the parents accessibility also. And this was why Gordon sat in circle, because his mum couldn't get anybody to look after her. He then became to be one of the most famous mediums. If we closed the doors to him because he was under 16, that name would not be mentioned now. What would we have lost, and the work that he put in. And I think it's, vital that we look after people. The reason that we have those facilities in our church is so that the parents can come along, and the kids are joining in and enjoying it. And, they sit and draw pictures. In actual fact, I can literally less than 4 feet from where I'm sitting right now. I've got a whole wodge of pictures that they've drawn for me during the service. One of them even has a picture of me and my guide standing next to me.
Amazing.
And he's not even 8 years old.
Well, the service, the last service I took for your church, Nick, there were at least 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 children sat on the back row.
Yes.
Did you see Laurie's comment from earlier at 4:46? I had a spiritualist president go to a hospital concerned I may be a health risk when making tea at the church.
Yeah.
Sucks teeth in disbelief.
Yes.
That.
Yeah.
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 Yep. And put a sweater on, Tony. You keep freezing. Okay. I like that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Really good point here from Tim. The 2 main sisters involved in the Hydesville wrappings, Hydesville Day.
What that says.
Katie and Margarita, I believe, were 13 and 15 at the time of the wrappings. Says it all. Modern spiritualism's, founders were under the age of 16, and now we're banning them from coming in. Was that this one? We have our Hydesville service combined with the naming service this Sunday. Yes, I saw. It could be mayhem. Probably will, but you know what? Who cares?
Exactly. Speaking of Anne-Marie's, if Amber Jade drew a picture, she would draw Tony with fairy wings. We mentored a young guy from the Prince's Trust who said, I'm really sorry I couldn't afford to buy you anything for Christmas.
So he drew a picture.
Drew a picture of his fairy godfathers. We mentored him for the Prince's Trust, and he was a cartoonist. So yeah, we've been called fairy godfathers and fairy goduncles, and it's fine. But yeah, Anne-Marie would. Oh,
absolutely. Oh, speaking of chaos going on, poor Tony. How are your feet?
Fine. The dog forgot they were running on linoleum, as it was called.
Yes, they won't be used
tried
to
to
it.
Stop and went into the table leg. Yes.
I
know. I would rather somebody did that than spend £500 on something I didn't want.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But
exactly.
It comes down to people's values, people's understanding of humanity, that something like that can mean so much more than, you can go to the run-of-the-mill church under 16 and children are so protected and are even more open. Exactly. They are absolutely brilliant.
Yeah.
I recall somebody saying their child came in and said, why is Uncle Keith, why do Uncle Keith and Uncle and Robert live together? Bye, Sam. Well, it's because sometimes men can love other men and da. Oh, okay. Well, there's some Twixes in the fridge.
Yeah, kids don't give a what's it, and I'm going to use that. I'm going to use that word.
They don't give a damn. They don't give a damn.
And they are the future of this way of life. They are the future of setting that example of openness that we cannot allow to be driven out of them.
And can I just expand our point just a smidge?
Yeah.
Away from children to developing mediums. I don't want to call them fledglings because developing mediums, people who want to open their mind and their hearts to hear the messages of spirit. I took to Nicola, who was on the feed, and Leslie as well, who is watching. I took Leslie to a church, and I checked it with the booking secretary when she confirmed and said, is it okay if they come along, because they need to stand in front of a congregation, and and work with the energies coming back from a congregation. It's fine doing all the development in circle and stuff, but you need to be out there. Absolutely, bring them along. President of the church was walking towards me as we walked in and went, "Oh, it's Tony and Jean, but who's that?" And I said, "This is Leslie. She's a developing medium," and da da da. Oh, wish we'd known, because if we'd announced it as a fledgling evening, people tend not to come because they get bored. They take that long faffing about with the messages. Oh, I'm going to go and sit in the back.
You're lost, lady.
Fella, but yeah, it is. And that's the thing. Yes, a new medium might take a little bit longer to get a message and to get the link and the understanding of what's going on. But I ain't going to last forever. Jane ain't going to last forever. Nick's not going to last forever.
No.
Who's coming up behind then? If we don't give people a chance to explore their mediumship and to develop it to the point where they can run a service and learn how to deliver it in a way that's respectful and engaging and funny, if that's how you want to work. Some people don't.
Yeah.
But it's about opening your mind to new ideas, and you can't just have fledgling evenings because and shouldn't do that, and shouldn't do this. Look how far we've come since Hydesville with the wrappings on the floor.
Yes.
It's developed from that. It's developed from the table tipping. It's developed from the seances in the parlors, and you know, we'll do it under closed light to close the blinds because we can't have people seeing. But Stace, exactly. You do what spirit needs you to do and want you to do. And for me, if Nick came onto one of my services and took the whole hour and a bit or whatever it turns out to be with one message to one person, that person needed that message that night. So what?
Yes, we forgive you, Shirley.
Oh, absolutely. But no,
and this is the core of it. This is the core of it. People are afraid not just to admit that they're spiritualists, but even spiritualists are afraid to admit to spiritualists that they're working because they are driven out from within sometimes. You know, it frustrates me. We should be encouraging development and growth. The spirit of youth, I remember, did that. I think I shared it, but just in case I didn't,
you did.
The philosophy from the children was amazing, and this is the thing: there is a reason why there is a phrase "out of the mouths of babes." Out of the mouths of babes, and yes, absolutely, Lorraine. And Spirit always know who need the messages the most. They do. They are in control. Now, this is the thing. Tony referenced, if I were to come on and spend an hour and a half with one person, then that's fine. The thing is this. Let's go back a week now. I served Huntington on Sunday. There was one message that I gave. It took about 6 minutes. And she was rattling and rattling and rattling and rattling and rattling and rattling. And I said so much in that 6 minutes that I can't even remember a single word I used, let alone who it was, which we tend not to anyway. But then the very next communicator, he was much slower. He was much more pronounced. He was much more deliberate. And the point is this. It's part of the communicator's personality demonstrating whether they're fast or slow. It's not necessarily about how the medium's working, you know, and to turn around and criticize people for having the gumption and the guts and the dog's danglies to stand up and put themselves out there for the benefit of others is unforgivable. And that includes adults as well as children. People
Absolutely.
should be encouraged and thanked for their efforts on behalf of Spirit, not criticised and belittled. There's a way of doing it. You can turn around and say, how did you feel about that? Is there anything that you felt that you wanted to progress on? Perhaps you could work on your timing. Stop worrying so much about whether you're sure of it or not, and just give it and let it go. Don't hold on. But that's about personal development, not spirit communication. And
No.
if you encourage and coax and praise rather than criticize and belittle and bemoan because of someone's age or the pace at which they work, then you are going to grow mediums, not restrict them and hold them back. I have got some great people that I work with throughout the week on Mondays and on Wednesdays that are just absolutely gorgeous. They are all at different levels of development, but they all blend together and work so well together. And they don't come to learn from me. They come to learn as much from each other. And, I say, watch that, see how that does. It's all about encouraging. Yes, I do agree with that. I do stand corrected on that one. No such thing as unforgivable, but it is extremely frustrating to restrict people.
It is.
Um,
It is.
it is, and it's unfair, and it's certainly not spiritual.
No,
I will say.
absolutely not. Absolutely not.
But I
And
do thank you for that correction. You were
yes,
absolutely right that nothing is
absolutely.
unforgivable. Bless you.
No. No. I find that it's sometimes so restrictive when people are going through the awareness and development processes. If the worst thing I heard when I was under Jean's wing was, you ought to do it more like Jean, dear. And it's like, no, Jean, I am me, and I will work as I feel Spirit wants to work. And it just so happens that Jean and I work in a very complementary way, but not the same way. But there are organizations and there are courses out there that sheep dip. Your messages can only be this long, and you can't, and you shouldn't follow. Jean and I work turn and turn about usually.
Yeah.
But Jean will sometimes say, can I just jump on your link, Tony? Because I've got a gentleman that followed your sitter through and wants your communicator through and wants to talk to the same person.
Yeah.
I don't mind that at all. A lot of places will be like, no, you don't do that. But that person could be missing out on a crucial message that will give them some comfort and closure. But to say, Jean will know who I'm talking about, but oh no, any more than 5 minutes and it's turning into a private sitting, dear. No, it's not. No, it's not. But yeah, we don't restrict. We shouldn't control people's mediumship in that sense. We should be allowing people to explore. Yes, there are certain things that for me are to give off on platform or from a rostrum or a pulpit or whatever you want to call it. But that's just me. That's me. I know people who don't use profanity, but use and
You're back. You're back.
Okay. I know people who use language, and I know people who give off things that they shouldn't maybe do. But that's how they work. I mean, if I was chairing and somebody was going into somebody's financial details and this, that, and the other, then I might say to them, no, let's not go that detail. Yes, Spirit might be giving you that information, but it's not really for to share. But it's about letting people try and we're doing a service on Thursday at a church. It's South Empsall Spiritualist Church, and we're taking like we're going to do a special built around tie-dye. It's
Wonderful.
wonderful. It's wonderful, and it works a bit like Hannah, little colours and things start to move and merge and grow. But it's I say go for it. If Spirit wants you to stand on your head while you're delivering a message, give it a go. See how it goes.
Yeah. I'm going to say at least it's making it different for people.
Yeah,
and, I'm very much reminded. The lovely Carlos Galeana served us last night, and he had Wendy come.
He did.
Wendy was the medium secretary of the church at Littleport for years. She was my first medium secretary, and she was a great believer in bringing in new blood and new ideas and new ways of working. And there's a couple of mediums actually that now work for us, infrequently as full-time and rounded in their development, who came to us with their mentor, who came to us with their circle leader, who came to us with their friend as a fledgling, as a developing medium to give it a go. And it was always important to Wendy and me that we encourage the next generation, no matter what age that generation might be when they join the way of life, to give the next generation a voice and a method. Somebody made a comment about the blending. I can't remember which one it is. There's something about blending. I can't remember. However, what I will say, I totally agree with that. Because one of the most important things I always say about our church, collectively, as much as the one that I am, responsible for, that church is not as good as they are. The bricks and mortar, the windows, the floors, the chairs. Our church is the individuals. They are the bricks and mortar. And each person makes up for a different aspect of how that church will grow and develop and be run. I don't have ultimate final say. At the end of the day, the members of the church have the ultimate final say on what it is we're going to do, how we're going to grow, how we're going to develop them, what we're going to try new, what we're going to try different. I've never had all the answers, and I never will. But if we listen to what other people are saying, and make space for different ideas, it's the most important part of what we are. We all blend and work together, in a way that allows that unity, but also allows that individual voice, to have an influence on how our way of life progresses and grows. I agree. I think as mediums, there are certain subjects we shouldn't open up in public. For example, abuse, medical conditions. However, part of the energy we use with our medium is our personality. Be yourself. Absolutely, yeah. We've got to be cautious. We've got to ensure that we are protecting those that we are working for as much as we are helping them. But each different medium works. This is why people gravitate to certain mediums, because they feel in tune with them and feel comfortable with the kind of information they're going to give. But that means that the more mediums that we push through and develop and grow and give voice to, no matter what the age, it's an opportunity. It's an opportunity that should not be missed to expand that reference for individuals. Joni, releasing the past, healing the present, and seeking the futures. That's how Spirit works with me. Spirits are very kind while working alongside me. I always say to my clients, the Spirit will deliver messages as they see fit for you at this particular moment. However, another medium may have different messages for you according to the delivery. Absolutely.
And that goes back to Laurie Saville about double links are great. You get two different perspectives from the same communicator.
Yes, absolutely.
Exactly.
I'm just going to leave you on your own for a second, if you don't mind. I will be back in just.
That's fine. Yeah, when I work with Jean, Jean gets very different types of different types of messages from the communicator than I do. We sometimes get a different perspective of the same piece of information, and sometimes it's two different pieces of information altogether. But it is. Oh, Facebook user, you see comments getting read that you never saw in the live chat. Yeah, it's because we're streaming to different platforms. So it's getting streamed to my Facebook feed, Nick's Facebook feed, and YouTube channels. So there are different comments. You'll see the comments from the feed you're watching from. Would you say that when we develop as mediums that we are in line with our own personalities we develop? That's an absolute tricky one, because I think the information you get is the information you get. You get the energy from the communicator, you get the information coming through from the communicator. I think where your personality comes in is the delivery and the tone you deliver that message with is where your personality comes into it. I always say, on the whole, I'm just a Bluetooth speaker for spirit. So it comes in to my head in a certain way and it comes out of my mouth. But what people say to me is, no, but it's the way you deliver it. It's the manner in which you give that over. For example, I did a private sit-in for somebody, and it was a son who had chosen his time to transition. But it was it was the way he came to me and the way the information came, that the lady I was delivering it to said it was gentle and kind. So I think that's why that particular information came through me and not Jean, because I could deliver that sort of evidence in that specific way. And Jean got a lot of stuff about his life, his work, and things like that, where he gave me the information about his passing condition and the way his head was at the time that he chose that particular time to transition. So that's, I think, where it comes from. Stace, I'm just trying to pick. I can't put your comment on screen because Nick's back, obviously.
Good timing.
I normally feel the personality of the spirit that's communicating. Same with me. I get energy and I get their personality coming through, and I get their essence, if you like. And like I said, that's why I feel that young chap gave me that particular type of information, because he knew I could deliver it in that way to his mum in a way that wouldn't be hurtful, disrespectful. People, I know a lot of people sometimes take issue.
And we're frozen again, dear.
Oh no! Oh no! Sorry. No, sorry about that. It's the atmospherics, because at the caravan we're based on a satellite-based Wi-Fi system. So it's a bit jumpy sometimes, and the weather is particularly naff today. But yes, I've seen Stace work, and it's wonderful watching her work. It really is.
Well, sorry about that. Back now.
That's fine. It's fine. Spirit will allow certain messages to come from. Right, two mediums can be sitting side by side. Same spirit comes through with a different message for each medium. Spirit will only allow certain message for certain medium to deliver, depending on them. I get you. Yeah. In which the medium deliver. Yeah. So then spirit know how you will deliver that information to their loved one, so they choose the medium. Why I always say, when people say to me, "Oh, why didn't Auntie Edith come through tonight then? Why did Uncle Jeff come through?" Well, maybe I'm not the medium for your Auntie Edith, dear. You know, I might not be able to deliver the message she wants to give you in a way that she's comfortable. So she'll wait for the right to be stood in front of you or sat in front of you. Karen, I'm normally drawn to the person first, then as I'm drawing info. Yeah. It's not often in a service I won't know where I'm going to. If I don't know where I'm going, there's usually a reason for that. There's usually a reason why I don't know where I'm going to first. I can't think of many incidents where it's happened, but one of them was somebody had come through and they had their own actions and intentions had taken them to spirit. They didn't necessarily transition themselves, but their decisions around their lifestyle and choices that led to them transitioning. And as I was giving that information, the spirit was really, really far back from me and I couldn't get a good connection. And bless him, he hadn't been in spirit that long, and he was a bit like, "Oh, I don't know how she's going to react to me being here, so I'll just start throwing the information out and then I'll see how she's reacting." And as the sitter was relaxing and was like, "I think I can take this information," putting the hand up, then the spirit came really close and the energy was really with me, and I could pick it up then and run with it. But yeah, that's how they tend to do it with me. I notice Nick sometimes is like that. When I've watched you work, you know, I'm with you. Oh, I don't know where I'm going with this one. Hang on a minute. And you start putting bits out, and it's that tentative step of, "Oh, I'm just dipping my toe in the water. Are they going to be okay with me?" And you know.
Yeah. And sometimes it's the opposite with me as well. There are some people that will briefly make themselves known, but don't actually like me as an individual and don't want to work with me from the world of spirit because I'm not the kind of person they feel comfortable around. Likewise, the opposite of that, there are some people think, "Oh, you're right, fun to work with. I'm going to work with you in a particular way." I mean, I'm reminded only because I was told about it after the service on Sunday. I had a message to give from one of the former presidents of that church I was serving, and she was brutal. She was stubborn. She was she was lovely, don't get me wrong, but she had such a powerful stance about her. And she said, "We probably wouldn't have got along, but I'm in charge at the moment because I'm the communicator and you have to do what I say in order to work." And I was like, "Thank you, darling." And it was so fun. And it was I relayed that because it was part of her personality. So all of these things work differently, but it can be different on different levels. Because I can see one of the questions is, working on different levels. Sometimes I only feel, so I relay the emotions that I'm feeling. I always connect on a relationship level via how I feel about the communicator rather than, being specific. Because, for example, sometimes you'll get a dad come through that isn't actually a dad. It's someone who fulfilled that role of a fatherly figure. But rather than just saying, "I've got a fatherly figure," I'll stand there and I'll say, "Okay, so I've got this gentleman coming through. He feels like a father, but there is this huge distance. So either it's your actual dad and there was a reason that you were separated for a large part of your life, or the way it more accurately feels to me is that this is a person who was not your dad, but fulfilled the role of dad and was more like a father perhaps than your biological one was." And it's there are ways of working with feeling. There are ways of working with emotion. As with everything else, it takes practice and communication and talking to people. And the amount of, if I were to balance up after 25 years, the no's versus the yeses, I'll feel lucky if they are equal. I will feel lucky if they are equal, especially when you take in development circles. The no's are important because that's how you learn.
Thank you. I worked with a medium. She's a lovely lady. I love her to bits. She said, "Oh no, don't give me no. It's a negative energy. I don't like it." And I thought, actually, I quite like a no, because it makes me work with the information I'm being given. When I say work with, I can I give you one of my pet peeves?
Yeah.
Well, I said work. If you're giving me a message, don't tell me, "Oh, well, no, I'm not going to give it yet because I'm working on it." No. It's not yours to work on. It's spirit. So give it. And that's for all of you upcoming mediums that are out there. If it's in your head, first thing in your head is spirit. Second thing is your thought.
Yes.
So give the information as you've given it. If you get a no, then it's either was this out because it's off? It's out because it's rank. Sorry. It's either you've received a visual or something in your terms of reference, doesn't mean it's interpreted your way.
Yes.
I gave a lady something, I can't, let me think what it was. Oh, a rocking horse. And I said, "Oh, you'll remember a rocking horse in a nursery or something." And no, we never had a rocking horse. Oh, I don't know what that is. And I went at it for a little while and like, well, I'm seeing a rocking horse. So there's something about a rocking horse. Oh, no. I used to say to this person I was communicating with, "You're worse than a rocking horse. You're going backwards and forwards and backwards and forwards." My mistake.
Yeah.
So that's where I'm getting at with that. But no, that's for me is you've either interpreted it yourself or you're missing a bit of information. So you haven't got the full picture yet. So go back and ask for something else, because there's another bit of information you need to land that message. So that's what it is.
And I would just like to add to that as well,
on.
an alternative, and it's really an important lesson that somebody needs to hear really clearly. And if she doesn't, I will tattoo it on her forehead on Monday afternoon. Sometimes, no matter how hard you try, no matter how confident the evidence is, no matter how comfortable you are with the information that you're giving, you will still get a no. You can either let it go, like our little friend says. You can either let it go, let it. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Yes, it's you. I'm just answering the comment. You can either let it go, move on, and go on to some new information where you will get yeses, or you can spend your whole life, or at least a whole week, obsessing about it so you get nothing else through. Sometimes you've just got to recognize that message isn't for you. It isn't about you. And there's many different reasons why, as Tony's explained, there are many different reasons why there is a no. Sometimes you've just got to let go, move on, rewind. This is something we used to have in my in my BP and Budgeons days. There was a training thing, and I always bring it with me. Stop, rewind, try again. Because when you rewind, you're clearing the slate, you're forgetting all of the negativity and negative connotations in thinking that you've got it wrong and you're a failure and that it's all made up. No, sometimes you will just get a no because you just get a no. And it's important to just let it go, move on, forget about it, because otherwise it will drag you down.
Yeah. I can give you a perfect example of that, Nick. One of the first times I was up on rostrum by myself, and I went to this gentleman, and no. Well, I've got grandma here, and she's showing me a red leather-bound family Bible with births, anniversaries, and passings handwritten. I can see the front cover. Inside the front cover of the Bible, there's names and dates and everything that they were born, they were married, they were buried. I can see it. No. And in the end, it was just after Michael's father had passed, and he was stood with me, and he says, "Oh, just tell him to go forth and multiply." And I'm like,
"All right, Lily,
you're really not helping, dear. You're really not helping. You know, I want to, but I can't." So I just said, "Look, okay, that's fine. I've tried. Either this message is for somebody else, or, you know." But I came back to the church the next week. He was there. I was in the congregation again. The medium was up. No. I saw him with quite a well-known medium in our area at a different church, and the medium gave him a red family Bible with inscriptions in the front. And guess what he said?
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. He would only say yes to the mediums he liked. So don't panic about it. Sometimes it's not you. It's just you're not the right person for that sitter. And you can stand on your head. You could paint yourself green. They're never going to say yes to you. There's a Facebook user. How or what would you suggest with people who work with energy and feelings, but there's no communication from? There's communication from the world of spirit.
Yeah.
You're getting communication from the world of spirit. You've got energy and you've got feelings coming through that aren't yours. That in itself is a message.
Yeah.
That in itself is a message. So, and it could just be that you need to start trusting a little bit more in the sensations and the feelings and the emotions that are coming through, and give them time, give them energy, and they will develop. I saw something there saying, I'm learning that once I'm up on my feet, it's that sort of thing that they're saying. I am now learning that go with it, I get more. And that's what it is. You need to start talking and the message will flow. That's what it can be. Acknowledge those feelings and say, I'm not sure what I've got. I often get, first thing I get is this really warm sense of masculinity and nurturing. And then I get a paternal feel. So I will often say, what I've got at the minute is I've got this paternal energy that's coming through me. It feels warm. It feels glowy. I really feel like I want to reach out and tend and watch you grow as a person. And by acknowledging that, you get that close connection and it starts to come. And so just by acknowledging that spirit is there, you will get it. You will get it. And I can answer that question. Yes, we have.
Very much so. A lot. A lot.
Love it. Yeah.
Tim says, one of my old students was an actor in the Carry On films. He told me once the difference between mediumship and acting. With mediumship, there is no script. You don't know what the next word will be, and you just have to trust. That is an excellent way of thinking.
Tim, that is perfect, because that is something I often say. If you're an actor or a singer, you know your set list, you know the songs that are coming up, you know what's next, you know your dance routines, you know the position you need to be in so that dancer can lift you up at the right time for that song. We stand up there with nothing but trust.
Yes, absolutely.
Nothing but trust and hope in our heart that there's something going to come through. And so, yeah. And it's scary. Absolutely scary.
Yeah.
Petrifies me.
Yeah.
And I defy any medium to, and I've had them say, oh, do you get nervous? Yes, I get absolutely bricking it at times.
Yeah.
Oh, no, I don't. Really? The first time I walk into a church to run a service and to work with spirit, and I haven't got the butterflies and that churning feeling in my stomach, I will walk back out of that church, because I haven't got spirit with me.
Absolutely.
Haven't got spirit with me. So
the nervousness, the uncertainty is a way of making sure that you get it right. And yes, it is a representation that, yes, you are nervous, but it always comes back to that is removed by your trust in spirit and the trust with your friends and helpers. I always get nervous. People wouldn't believe it, the way me and Dawn lark about on a Monday on SPTV. I'm sitting there for the 5 minutes beforehand, and I am, your words exactly, I'm bricking it every time. It's that nervous energy, it's that excitement, it's all of the above. But what stops me from walking away, what stops me from running away, what stops me from hiding and turning off the screen is that trust in spirit, and
Mm-hmm.
it's always that trust in spirit. So never be
Excellent.
afraid of that feeling. We are actually at 5:30, mate. Can you
Wow.
believe it?
No.
What
There's
a
so much more conversation going off in
yes!
the
It's been brilliant, everyone. Thank you so much.
amazing,
Um,
amazing.
it's what we are here for. The conversation can continue.
Yes.
Facebook.com/groups/2 Revs.
Can I jump in?
You can.
Lorraine, if you would like us to work with Signs of the Afterlife as a double act one, I would be more than happy. I would be
Absolutely.
more than work with Nick on your channel, on your Facebook page if you would like it, because
Yeah, I'm
it's
more than happy
I
to.
think it would be great. I think it would be great. No
I
disrespect,
love
my auntie Jean, and yes, I
yeah.
will always want to work with Jean, but yeah.
I do enjoy working with you because we do we just click. We've always clicked, just like a very me and Dawn, we click for different reasons, but there is some overlap in those reasons as well because we can be a little bit naughty, just like you and me.
No, never naughty.
If I may, just very briefly, while we have everyone on the subject of
Yes,
that.
yes, yes, yes.
For many may already be aware, there has been some difficulties in the world of spiritual development and growth and community. There was a rather major piece of equipment blow up. I'm not underpinning it. It blew up on SPTV, which means that the lives are finished for now. There is a great deal of hope. There's always hope. And certainly the way the community of SPTV, of which I am an honorary family member, of which I'm so pleased to say, have gathered together and working in the background with all of the other presenters and hosts to work on a fundraiser. There's lots of other things going on as well, to get SPTV free and live again. Because at the moment we're only able to do the behind the scenes background VIP stuff because it's run off a different system, you see. But the live shows, they all go through this specific software and this specific piece of hardware. And we will be having a fundraiser on Monday and on Friday to help raise funds. Funds have already been raising. I don't quite know where we're at the moment, but I do know, that there's been a lot of work going on with people, and some lovely
Mm-hmm.
people have been working with Richard and SPTV. And I have to particularly give a quick, really big shout out to the lovely Matt Grogan, and also Rachel, who's been doing the graphics as well, but all of my colleagues on SPTV who have been working together so hard to get us back live. Stay tuned. If you have a look on SPTV's Facebook page, you can find links to it on my page, all over the place. We're trying to raise money to get things back up and running. If you are able to contribute, that would be amazing. If you can't afford it or already have, please share the posts about what we're doing. There will be live demonstrations of mediumship throughout Monday and Friday with many hosts, not just present hosts, but past ones as well. And it's £5 a day. It's
Yes.
£5 a day to be a part of that and get messages. So if you can support getting SPTV back online, that would be great. Thank you very much. I don't like to do shameless
No,
self-promotion.
that's fine. That's
Um,
fine. I just want to pick up. I don't know who Facebook user is, but Lorraine Clark, who is commenting, runs Signs of the Afterlife, so I'm sure she'll look at the background and see why you can't find it. But yeah, it's an amazing channel. They are lovely, lovely people.
And that's why I love it. Look at that. We'll get Richard back and running.
We will.
Family sticks together.
We will. It's because it is an amazing channel. I said to Nick beforehand that it is a lovely way of getting people to spread the truth of Spirit and the message of Spirit. It's not just because we wear the collar. It's that. Yes, I love it. I love SPTV.
Yeah.
It's Chrissy Wheatley. Okay.
Oh, Chrissy.
So
I'll send you a message on how to fix that.
Yeah, and I'm sure Lorraine will get her people to look at the background and to see why we can't get it. What happened to the TV channel?
So the SPTV channel, we're a big spiritual fan. I'm loving this. Thanks, Mum. Basically what happened is the graphics card that runs the software that streams everything through just literally blew up.
Yeah, people are saying the graphics card went boom.
The graphics card did indeed go boom. And so it means that the whole operating system is just completely, in the words of an old friend of mine, completely kaput. And that means that it's going to cost. The whole kit and caboodle with the upgrade on the power supply, which we didn't take into consideration when it first happened. The new card, the new power board is going to be about 1,800 quid, I think.
Wow.
So it was heartbreaking. It really, really was. And this lovely young man actually came and co-hosted with me when Dawn was in hospital on the Monday, and we had a wild time. In fact, he got told off for not being as rowdy as he is on air, because we love to brighten people's day. And for me, it's really cool that I get to bookend people's working week. Come on with Dawn on a Monday and brighten people's day, and then come on with Tony on a Friday on our platform. And it's kind of like we get to bookmark the week. Basically, it's brilliant.
It's lovely. It's lovely.
But my SPTV family has been so supportive, and once again, it's all blurred with ours again, hasn't it?
It has. I looked shy. It was weird. I must have been having a really bad day that day.
Yes, you did look shy. Actually, you did look shy. I was worried that I'd actually swamped you, but I thought, no, Tony will soon tell me to shut up.
Yeah. No, I would have. I've just jumped up. But yeah, it will happen. And the thing is, Richard sinks so much of his own money and time into SPTV, and becoming a VIP is only a few pence. It really is
37p a week.
37p a week.
Yeah, and 37p a week.
It's less than a newspaper, less than a newspaper. So it's
it happened.
It did. So there we are. So apart from fundraising, what else are you up to this week, sir?
Well, actually, I've got. Speaking of SPTV, it's our final Friday night workshop. Our final Friday night workshop for developing mediums is tonight. Then this weekend, I've actually got a couple of days of catching up. Letters to write, emails to send, services to print, certificates to print. So all of the admin side of what we do for the Alliance. It's there is a GoFundMe page. It's on my profile, darling. It's all there. It's all there. And I actually shared it to the group page as well. And I don't want it to end either, because it's part of my life now. That thing that me and Stace to keep it SP. To think that we'd never do that together again was heartbreaking. It really, really was. It'd be like suddenly being told that I can't work with you anymore.
Yeah. Wrong way, dear.
Anymore. So it's just that. So I will be keeping in touch with my circles.
Facebook user, you can't even buy a stamp for 37p, but if you join SPTV VIP, you get loads of entertainment, which is worth it.
Yes, you do get access to the SPTV Lounge, which is another Facebook group. And
yes, you'll be doing
circles.
circles.
I have to say that I am confident that it will be back, but we can't rest on our laurels. We have to make it happen.
Yeah. Run VT.
Run VT. Yeah, another one of my catchphrases that I've started sharing it about a bit. But yeah, so there's so much going on there. Zoom events, like for instance tonight as a Zoom circle. Lots going on. So I'll be doing my circles as well. Next week I'm starting developing someone. I'm developing someone in trance, which will be a wonderful adventure. And then of course Thursday night church.
Yes.
So what are you up to, dear?
Well, I've got, as I said, I've got the special with tie-dye on Wednesday. Then Thursday, I'm doing an afternoon service in Hull, a lovely little Christian church called John Street. It's absolutely wonderful. A lovely group of people. I've got private sit-ins. I'm doing a limited number of private sittings to raise funds for the Rainbow Project Rotherham.
Wonderful.
So yes, I've got that. And then it's Easter week. It's Easter week.
It is
going to be very spiritual and very, yeah. It's Chrissy again. Yeah.
It's Chrissy again. Oh yes, it's funny. I can tell by the terms and the language used which one's Liz and which one's Chrissy. It's. I must be psychic.
It's. But yeah, and then we've got food night for the Rainbow Project on Tuesday. So if anybody is in or around South Yorkshire and can make it to Wather-upon-Dearn, come along. We're not sure what we're having, but we're having some sort of hot food on Tuesday evening, 6:30 onwards.
Yeah, brilliant.
And Saturday, we won't be there, but Saturday is the Saturday social one till people shut up and stop talking. So if you and I were there, Nick, we will be there till midnight.
Yes, absolutely. And this is the thing. It is, Mum. I'm married to. I'm going to get done. I'm going to be like him off of EastEnders. I'll be getting in trouble for.
How many people have you got?
Bigamy. I know. It's amazing.
It is. Yeah.
all of these wives and husbands I've got in the spiritual sense. Mum hasn't even got to wear a hat once.
Oh. That's unfortunate and very sad. Very
Bless
sad.
you. That's a very good question, actually. What do you think, Tony? Fine for me. We'll have an Easter special.
And why not? Why not? Because it's running up to the time that is all about why Christianity is Christianity. When it was crucified and rose again.
And I get to have a rant and rave about the gospel of Nicodemus.
Again. Yeah.
Well, absolutely pleasure as all.
Bye, Lorraine. Yep.
Bye, Lorraine. Love you. And the dogs are saying it too. That's a yes. I'm on the Monday one. Friday is an SPTV fundraiser day. But I'm working the Monday one. Thank you, Tim. Because the severance pay would be diabolical if everyone dumped me all of a sudden really quickly. So you stay my friend, Tim. Thank you. It is Easter. We will have a chat for definite, but I see no reason why we can't. Because let's face it, we can also do a bit of a plug for the SPTV event as well.
We can indeed.
Because I will go and obviously help out behind the scenes with them, intermittently throughout the day as well when I'm not helping someone with their trance. So, thank you as ever, Tony, and thank you everyone at home for being so engaged and engaging.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
If I don't see you over the weekend, I'll see you over the fence. But until next week, and until that time, from all of us here, thank you so much. And it's good night from him.
And it's good night from him. Good night.
Good night. God bless. Oh, where's that? I can't even find the doobry now. Here we go. Night night.